Kamala, there's something different in your genes, like a mutation.
Whatever it is, it's just gonna be another label.
Please, please.
Hey, what year is it? Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boys, Petey and Kyle. Say what's up, gents.
What's going on?
Hey, we're ready to rock.
Hey, so we're talking today about this new thing that Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan, may get retconned in X-Men, and being there almost as long as Wolverine. I mean, of course, this is some type of elsewhere type of stuff, but I had to talk to the boys about it and say, what do you think about that? Bringing someone back in it's for Free Comic Book Day. Marvel is publishing a Fantastic Four giant size X-Men #1, and guess who's there? Kamala Khan. So, what's your take on this, gents? I mean, is this a great what if, or is this something that, lazy writing, or giving people what they want to see? I mean, now that they've made her a mutant, I mean, that's been the big thing. The last year, they took the time to go over and make her a mutant officially, and now they're bringing her back with time. What's your take, guys? I believe, Cal, you have some knowledge. You've been a avid reader of Kamala Khan over the years.
What? I read 6 issues. That's it.
Sounds like he's a fan.
So tell us some more. What's your take on it, baby?
Yeah, I'm a fan in this group. It's ridiculous. Come on. I mean, we're going to make short work of this one, right? It's ridiculous. Retconning her. See, if they actually had some connection to the X-Men or had some sort of synergy going on with the X-Men, I could understand. Similar to like when Rogue got pretty much put on the team and things just really started rolling and she meshed in very well. But this is such a force fit at the end of the day. She's a new character who suddenly became a mutant after she died, but came back, and now she's been on the team as long as Wolverine. It just goes to show that the House of Ideas is bankrupt, if exactly that.
Well, this kind of feels like kind of when the Ultimates did the thing for putting what's the name, Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, to kind of wave, say, hey, we're here. This is kind of like, hey, we know Kevin Feige trying to force Kamala Khan on us, so we'll put her into the X-Men. It's like, this is almost as bad as Chris Claremont and Byrne being forced to take Dazzler, because every year after Dazzler, was around, and then her series fell apart, the fans were like, why did you guys create her and then just not do anything with her? And they're like, we didn't create her. They came into the room and said, put her in the X-Men. So it seems like a very forced thing. And giving her lines in there when, this is a period where they were trying to, this shot here is right before she breaks the mnemonic scrambler that the Beast created, and then she just stops the X-Men cold, and Cyclops then comes saves the day. But it's not a really great period because she's really as dark as anything at this part. So, and no one knows what's in her head, So her saying this line, "You can fight this. Don't let this outer space spicy chicken mess with your head." Meaning the entity of the Phoenix, even though it's good that she's saying something about the entity of the Phoenix, it's just giving this person light. It's okay when you try to do, I don't even like when they put Deadpool in Secret Wars, it's like there's no point in doing that. You can't put them, and like usually they should be like in behind a tree or something like that, but you can't try to force fit her into the thing unless it's like a company-wide thing where you actually do a retcon where you redo giant size X-Men and you put her part of the international cast. But they're not doing that. They're not saying here's a new continuity. They're saying, here, you figure it out. All the other retcons at least did a start for it and said, this is the start. Here's the start. Everything from this point on. They're like, no, you can figure it out, and I'm not with it. So,
I'm with. Yeah, I'm saying I agree with you. It just seems very weird for them to be doing this, especially in Free Comic Book Day. Especially they're doing a new giant size X-Men. I mean, I think the problem with, I've already told you already, guys, the problem I have with the X-Men, and that the very fact that it's just a huge proliferation of titles and characters. It's hard to keep a track of that whole world.
All
People
right,
love
all
it.
right, all
I'm trying
right.
to say.
Come on, this
But
has
hold
nothing
on,
to do with that, though.
hold on. Let me just finish what I'm going to say. You know, but the very fact that you come into this, adding Kamala Khan is just another cast of the character. I'm To me, I think this is definitely based off of the movies, because with the death of Kamala Khan, then her becoming a mutant, the thought is that now they're going to probably reintroduce her into the whole um, X-Men line of characters. Probably she may be, the cast of characters that Feige finally brings out may not be the original. Well, not, definitely is not going to be the original, and may not be the beloved '80s from Claremont time. It may be something else, a whole new lineup that he's setting up to go forward. And she may be the character. She may be the Kitty Pryde character in that end. I'm not sure. 'Cause, I mean,
It's like
I've
Firestar joining the X-Men. That's as criminal as Firestar being one of the original X-Men.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, first of all, let's just go back to what we're really talking about. We're talking about Phase 5, right? And them bringing out the X Men. And so by them doing this air balloon, this is what I call it, an air balloon trial balloon that they send up. They're saying, hey, what do people think about Kamala Khan being part of the X Men? You know, let's see if that really works. Well, we have the comic that we've already done. They've already tried her already there. Let's make her more of a more pivotal or influential character. So this whole thing where they're opening up like this kind of like alternate use or alternate universe. Hey, I can't wait till they start the ultimate. They already have Ultimate X-Men. When are they going to bring her in? You know what I'm trying to say? And from there, God knows what happens. So I'm not necessarily a fan of this stuff. I mean, I like Kamala Khan. I think she's a character who can stand on her own, and she did stand on her own comics and stuff like that. But now melding her with the X-Men,
How did she stand on her own? She had a comic that was canceled. Of how many?
She had, yeah, but how many? But when you look
how
at all
many
the time,
times was it canceled?
well, how many characters out here who've had their cancels coming? Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde. I don't know if the Beast had a comic, but most of them have had this. There's very few of them who had comics that have been successful that continue.
No,
Cable
we're
has
talking about a person that's in a
Wolverine.
group. A person that's in a group, they're reactors. So the part of being a part of a group means they're supposed to be reacting with other characters. You can't expect them to be like, all right, now go do your own thing. She was introduced as a solo character, similar to Carol Danvers, and the thing is, neither had legs. But this one had less legs. They just had to keep doing it because this was, don't you're making me go too far on what I'm going to say about it. But
go. If you want to fight, fight.
Go.
This is their diversity higher. And they're going to keep pushing this thing out and putting this character out. No.
Wait. Then don't go there. Diversity higher.
That's what I was going to go to.
That's my Patoosie. Patoosie. No. We're not going there at all. It's not diversity high.
They keep putting the book out when Ms. Marvel didn't sell after issue 23, they didn't put out issue 24. They canceled it. Spider-Woman, they canceled it, right? This is the whole thing. Speedball, they canceled it. If you have a character, you can't just turn to the X-Men and say, hey, Nightcrawler, he didn't have no, Nightcrawler is a reactor. So he's supposed to be reacting with other characters. The team books, you don't only if that's the thing. Only when there's enough interest to break off, that's when you get the next title. That's when you find out it has legs. You put out a mini-series, you put out a one-shot. Wolverine, right? They had the Wolverine mini-series, and then next thing you know, Marvel, Chris Claremont was not for it. He was like, do a series of mini-series, and Marvel was like, no, we're doing a series. And it's one of their longest running titles. It was successful. And it was successful with, Larry Hama for the longest time until he decided to do multiple writers and multiple arcs until the crash. So, it's this thing. We can't compare her to, say, any of these X-Men under the page, saying that Colossus didn't get a story. Hey, he's not supposed to. He's a reactor. He's going to react. He's more into, part of a group rather than a solo character, But Feige hasn't really talked too much. He's mentioned mutants He hasn't mentioned
What I'm
the
saying,
X-Men.
look, I'm not. You can say you react or whatever. I'm still going back to the fact that yes, she had a title. Title's no longer there. But they've been the point I'm trying to make is that very few of the other ones had their own titles, right? And her title, she's come back many times. She's had her own. She's had her own TV show individually compared to some of the others. So there is something there, whether you're pushing it or not. Okay, so let's not go
No, no,
totally.
no. I'm sorry, but Petey's right. This is a DEI, okay? And
Don't
they were
use
like,
that
look,
word. Keep on. Sorry.
that's exactly what this. Look, that's what it was, okay? And they put a lot of air into the balloon to keep this thing afloat. I mean, I've seen this happen with. There's a similar. See, like Morbius was a character that they put a lot of investment into, didn't necessarily reap all the benefit that they would have liked. But Morbius had the appearance of Spider-Man. He was featured in the Marvel Comics, the horror magazines. He's had, his own series. He's got a film, all right? And at the end of the day, most people don't know Morbius. He's had several series, never really succeeded in terms of series-wise, okay? But, they put a lot in. They thought, no, if we give enough backing to the character, we can get this guy up off the ground and running. There is a fan base. Guys like him never were able to get him off the ground. This right over here is similar, but different. This was, well, okay, I won't say it again, but we know why the character came. We know why the character came into being, what Marvel was doing at the time. And then, of course, see, but that's the problem when you do stuff like this. With, say, like Morbius or the Scarecrow character that Marvel had back in the 70s, that they were also, pushing, and even to an extent with Black Panther, because after the Jungle Action series faded, and then he got his own series and that stopped, they still were keeping the storylines alive, like in Marvel Premiere, because they were like, no, we want to try to keep this going, but nothing else came other than putting him back in the Avengers. With Miss Marvel, however, when the character was created, okay, it was for certain reasons, and then it becomes, all right, well, if we don't continue to try to promote, push, and get this character out there, it's going to look like our commitment.
More than $30.
Sorry.
It's going to look like our commitment, not our commitment to the character, but our commitment to the fundamental things we were trying to address with this character, i.e., diversity. We don't really care about it, and so that's one of the reasons why they weren't able to let it go, even though the character. I mean, another character like this would never got the push, but with her, it was like, hey,
why don't we just say the same thing? We have the same thing with Black Panther and Falcon, and what his name?
Successful.
Hey, I think
Black Panther successful. Even the second Black Panther successful. Falcon and Winter Soldier successful.
All right, so we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one, okay? Because once again, it can be.
You can't compare her. You can't compare her to Black Panther and Falcon, who are. I mean, these are Silver Age characters, okay? And there's a bunch of Silver Age characters nobody's ever heard of, but people know these characters because they were successful. Black Panther as in a leading role and supporting role. Falcon mostly in a supporting role, but they have been successful. She hasn't had that type of success. She's had more exposure than a character with her type of success probably should have had, but she hasn't had that type of success.
Okay. Anything you want to pile on, Petey?
It's a pylon. I think.
Yeah, it's a pylon.
It's a bad idea to take a. It's almost the equivalent of when Kevin Smith took the year one where Batman goes to the crime. Was it the mobsters in the dinner and says, "You've dined of Gotham tonight. It ends," and then he shuts the lights off, and they say he had a bladder spasm after that. It's like adding on to taking a good story and adding your nonsense to it is total trash. So you want me to pile on? That's my pile on. All right, I'm done.
Okay, I mean, hey, I can't. I'm not gonna.
Well, my question is are they going to do a new cover for Giant Size X-Men #1, and she's going to be on it now?
Ooh, that would be so terrible.
She's going to be about what, 60 years old because of her. She's not Wolverine. She doesn't have that healing factor to kind of keep her in that grizzled state for endlessly. So I guess she'll be the only geriatric member of the X-Men right now. Like how does this work?
Wolverine wasn't even Mr. Wolverine in the original, like saying he's like Mr. X-Men at that period. He was someone that they were almost ready to get rid of. So it's like kind of comparing them. Why don't they just say she was there as long as the new X-Men? It's like, nope, no one will read it. As long as Wolverine suggests that she'd been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's just a bad.
And Wolverine himself, Wolverine was like the DEI because these guys were like, "Hey, we need a Canadian character here. We got a lot of Canadian readership. Let's put a Canadian character to make these guys happy." You know, that is his reason for being. We want to give the Canadian readers a superhero that these guys can that these guys can tap into. And he did not blow up overnight. It was like a good 10-year process. It was what, from Giant Size to the first Wolverine annual. What's that? Is that 10 years or more?
I guess you could say that 84 to 74 to 84 maybe. But the buzz around him obviously is the buzz around him happened probably. I guess it's like not the issue we got punched into space, but when he chases down the deer trying to get next to him, and then when he starts killing, that's when the fans started taking notice. The big money happens what you said in '84 when they say, "Ooh, they got a miniseries out of it," and Chris Claremont and Frank Miller just decided to do it over a car ride. They were driving back, and they said, "Hey, let's do Wolverine." He said, "Well, I don't want to do Miller's like, I don't want to do a homicidal maniac. Can we do some other stuff?" And he said, "Yeah, samurai." So, but yeah, the big money is that stage. The buzz is when I think the Savage Land where he killed the guard, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he just killed the guard!" And they went to the con. Byrne, did he kill the guard? Yes, he totally killed the guard. And then Shooter's like, "No, he didn't kill the guard. He didn't." And even though he approved it, he approved the killing outside, but then he's running around the con like, "No, I'm in charge of the official deaths in the Marvel universe." So, but anyway.
Yeah, whatever. He killed that guard.
And
if Shooter says he wasn't killed, then he wasn't killed. Okay.
Shooter doesn't even like the content coming from the books that he's credited for. He's credited for the X-Men. He's like complains about the X-Men being the story's too long, and that was the most successful book out. Put Byrne on the FF, did his best to try to get him off. Byrne stayed there for almost 5 years. Didn't write Thor anything like Simonson when he wrote him in Secret War. So he had big issues on all his successes outside of maybe Daredevil. So, but yeah. Anyway, going back to this, I can't. The hard part is that Jean doesn't have, just like what's that thing? Classic X-Men to end on a serious note. There wasn't enough room to say Jean is partying and being friends with the new X-Men, because she leaves when the new X-Men come in there. She's only brought back during a period when she is on a date with Cyclops, and then she gets the Phoenix power. She's in the hospital for the next period. They go to space. After they go to space, they have they get kidnapped by Mesmero, and then she thinks the X-Men are dead for a long period. There are 2 stories after that. And classic X-Men have added a ton of stories of them connecting where there's no room. There's no room for Jean to really connect that much outside of the 3 fights that she did with the X-Men. The space fight, the Magneto, this is 4, Proteus, and then what's that thing? Actually the Hellfire Club. So there's not enough time to say that she made all this time with the X-Men outside of the moments you have, but you don't even have that much moments to add in Jean and Storm because she left the team. So this thing of having Jean connect to Kamala Khan, there's no time for it. There's no time if she had stayed after Giant Size, maybe, but she's one of the people who left. So
so look, what if they had done it with New Mutants? Would that have been a better plot?
No, the thing is they had, but the plot line was already killed. They would have had, besides actually, there's not even enough time, because when they get Kitty, she meets Kitty, and then Kitty doesn't come back till after she's dead. So she does meet Kitty, but there's no time for them to bond, do all that stuff. Because Kitty is planning to go to school at the, with the X-Men. She's not official, until after after Jean, either story. After Jean, if Jean went to her parents and was turned into regressed to a 5-year-old in her mind, she comes right after that. So, well, and same with the death. So,
Okay. Well, I mean, what else can we say? I mean, look, you're saying basically just totally bad idea. It doesn't work anywhere else. She's a DEI, even though we know that Black Panther, Dazzler, Colossus, you can also say they're kind of all DEIs if you want to put it that way. So let's end on a good note. If you like what you hear,
no, they're not ending on you deciding that the Black Panther is a D is not. No,
all
no.
right. So if we throw out the Black, then we say Kitty Pryde and the Beast and Nightcrawler and Rasputin. That they're all and Atlanta. They're all DEIs. You using your language. Oh, and Dazzler. Let's not forget that too. Okay. So hey, if you like what you hear,
I don't even know. I just wanted to end. So, you want to go that route?
okay, if you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. What do you think about this whole thing? Whether Kamala Khan is a DEI or not?
No, she should belong in the X-Men, and she doesn't. Retconned into the X-Men. That's the question. That was
That's true.
a sidebar. The DEI was just a sidebar to say that maybe if the character doesn't have legs, you retire or put her into the new Warriors.
Isn't that what they used to do all the time with Avengers? If you don't have legs, put her in the Avengers.
I'm saying put her in the new Warriors. She would have been a better character
because
than those crappy characters.
The Avengers was initially characters who had their own series, and then it became, oh no, if you got your own series, you're not in the X-Men. So characters are actually either created, to be within the X-Men, or you had good supporting characters, say like a Hawkeye or a Black Widow, who had appeared in other series, who could now come over to the X-Men. So, what you're saying doesn't quite, stand up to scrutiny, unfortunately for you.
You mean Avengers? You don't mean X-Men, so because if it was X-Men, then it doesn't stand up to scrutiny, but Avengers does.
No, because I was talking about the Avengers. If you're talking about the X-Men, that team format was a totally different thing, because those guys were created to be X-Men. They were not other characters who were put together to be a team.
No, I'm saying you said that, but you said X-Men because they were not on X-Men; they were on Avengers.
What are you talking about?
What you were talking about?
No, I was explaining the origin of the Avengers. The Avengers were all those guys on the original Avengers had their own series or were appearing in their own series.
I agree with what you said. I'm just saying you just said X-Men instead of Avengers. That's all you said. I'm just correcting that.
Anyway.
Hey, we go back to the whole thing. Should Kamala Khan be part of the X-Men?
No, she should not be part of the X-Men, and no, she should not be retconned to be in there from giant size and going over to the Krakoa. That's ridiculous.
Okay, so cooler heads prevail, and they think it's okay.
What cooler head prevail? What are you talking about?
It's okay.
Cooler heads prevail. Whatever sells, sells. That's what I say.
Kamala Khan doesn't sell.
Well, then it doesn't sell. If you like what you hear, give us a comment, subscribe, spin a rack.
Out.
Right now we are. Where is it? We are out.